Now, Fallout 4 has been out for just about a decade now, and I've put countless hours into the game over those years and played it through multiple times doing each ending, but I'm still learning new things which can totally change the game or just give you something totally new and fun to try out. So whether you're fairly new to Fallout 4 or whether you're returning after a few years break, in this video I'm going to go over 10 different things I wished I had known sooner when playing Fallout 4. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get stuck in. So first up, let's talk about the power armor jetpack. Now, I actually played through Fallout 4 at least twice before I even realised this was a thing, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One, I don't often actually use power armor that much, and two, my first two playthroughs of the game were not a Brotherhood of Steel playthrough. But yes, the power armor can be equipped with a jetpack that lets you scale buildings, reach hidden areas, escape danger, or drop in on enemies from above like a total badass. And there are a couple of ways you can actually get this. And the first one requires you to reach Science rank 4 and Armourer rank 4 as well, since the jetpack is a top tier modification. Once you've got both of those, if you head on over to a power armor station and build it as a torso mod, there you go, happy days. It does cost a good chunk of adhesive circuitry and nuclear material if you don't get given one like I did. And the second way to get it is get given one like I did, and to do that, you need to complete the Brotherhood of Steel questline. So, spoilers aside, you do get given one at the end. So either of those, and before long, you'll be jetpacking around the wasteland, having a great time. Now, as a side note, this jetpack is absolutely essential for the final point in this video, so make sure you stick around for that to see exactly what you can get if you have a power armor with a jetpack equipped. At number 2, if you ever find yourself running low on ammo, this tip is for you. When you tear through a number of enemies, and more specifically enemies that have guns, don't just loot a few ammo from their corpses, you also want to make sure that you are picking up their guns as well. And why is that? Well, when you grab their weapons, it instantly adds all of the leftover rounds they had, loaded inside them as well, to your ammo stash. You don't even have to keep the gun, like you can just drop the gun or scrap the gun right after, but at the end of the day, you've just scored some extra ammo for free. It's a quick way to stretch every bullet when you're running a little bit low. Number 3, let's talk about fusion cores. So if you're a player who uses the power armor a lot, you're going to be burning through a handful of fusion cores fairly quickly. But you're missing out on a lot of caps if you just replenish these cores when they're out of juice. Instead, what you should be doing is selling them when they're basically empty but not fully empty, because vendors are going to pay the same price for a nearly empty core as they do for a fully charged one. And that means you can swap out your low charge cores, sell them off, get way more value instead of tossing them or just having them get used up. It's free money most players don't realise they're actually leaving on the table. Number 4, let's talk a little bit about shooting enemies, specifically through VATs, because this tip can be a little bit of a game changer when you find yourself in a little bit of a sticky situation against certain enemies. Don't always just try and go for the headshots, so instead you want to be aiming for the limbs. For example, shooting a ghoul's legs can drop them to the ground, making them way less dangerous and much easier to finish off. And the same goes for various robots in the game as well. Take out their arms so that you can stop them from using their weapons altogether, or take out their legs and they'll be significantly less dangerous. It really is a simple tactic that makes tough fights a whole lot more manageable, and something that it took me an annoyingly long time to figure out, even though it might seem obvious to some of you. Okay, so this next one is a little different because sometimes you need a break from super mutants and raiders, right? Well, at 5, did you know Fallout 4 has its very own mini version of Donkey Kong, and it's actually hidden in plain sight. In fact, you could even play this the second you wake up in Vault 111 at the very beginning of the game. So when you're in Vault 111, if you navigate your way to the cafeteria and then check the recreation terminal, there should be an option to play tape. And if you select that option, you'll be flung into a game called Red Menace. Now, Red Menace is especially a throwback to 1980s Donkey Kong, and your goal is to dodge barrels and nukes, climb platforms, and save your vault buddy from a mutant ape. It's a bit clunky, it's good fun, and it's pure 1980s nostalgia inside this post-apocalyptic RPG. And the best thing is, you can actually eject this holotape from the terminal and take it around the wasteland with you, so whenever you fancy a break, you can just start it up and have a play. Pretty cool, right? Number 6, let's talk about stealing. Now, stealing isn't really a good idea in Fallout 4 because it can have a bunch of negative consequences, such as attracting unwanted NPC attention, or even resulting in direct combat if you steal something. But you can actually get some decent gear, resources, or even unique items by stealing from NPCs. And did you know there is an easy way to steal without getting any of the negative consequences? Assuming you can see that item, and pick it up basically. So what you have to do is use the hold to pick up mechanic, and then you need to run away. Go hide somewhere, and then you can actually claim that item you've nicked. It really is that simple. You won't get the negative consequences, and to actually pick up a item, this can be done using A or X on Xbox and PlayStation respectively, and I believe the default PC key is E. And number 7, let's talk about hacking terminals. So here's a tip that could save you a ton of frustration, because hacking terminals in Fallout 4 isn't just guesswork. There's actually a hidden mechanic most players actually miss. So when you're staring at that mess of random letters and symbols, look out for open and closed brackets near each other. Your cursor should actually highlight them automatically, to be fair, but if you then click on one of these, it's either going to remove a dud word from the list or reset your attempt entirely. So this basically means you can brute force a terminal with 0 lockouts if you know exactly what you're looking for. The trick: start your hacks by scanning for these open and closed brackets before guessing any words. Therefore, you can clear out as many duds as you can and reset if needed. Then make your educated guess. This massively boosts your odds, even on the hardest expert and master terminals. It really is quite simple and quite an underappreciated little hack. At number 8, if you enjoy building settlements in Fallout 4, then it's absolutely essential that you get yourself the local leader perk. And it's something I generally missed out during my very first playthrough all those years ago. Now, if you ever felt like building in Fallout 4 is a little bit of a nightmare and a bit of a grind because you're constantly running out of materials, this is why. By default, every settlement keeps its own junk and crafting supplies separate. But the fix: grab the local leader perk at charisma level 6, and once you've got it, you can assign settlers to become provisioners, setting up supply lines between your settlements, and suddenly, every single piece of junk you've collected across the Commonwealth becomes one big giant shared inventory. This means no more fast travelling back and forth just to grab a few screws or adhesive, because it is all instantly available to you at every connected workbench. Honestly, I wish I'd known this on my very first playthrough, because it turns out settlement building is quite fun, and this turns it from a grind into a breeze in no time at all. Now at number 9, if you're ever strapped for cash, aka caps, this one is a total game changer. So forget scavenging for bottle caps one by one. Instead, just build some water purifiers in any settlement with access to a river or a coastline, or just water basically. These bad boys quietly churn out purified water over time, stacking up in your workbench inventory every in-game day. And the best part, you can sell that water to vendors for a solid profit, or keep a stash for free, free for healing on the go. So set up a couple of industrial purifiers in, say, Sanctuary or Spectacle Island. Before long, you'll have thousands of caps rolling in completely passively while you go off and do whatever the hell you want. It's basically a built-in money printer Bethesda just left lying around, so once you know this trick, you'll never be broke again. The final one on this list includes arguably the coolest secret apparel you can actually acquire in Fallout 4, and that is the free fall legs. Now, these legendary leg armor pieces completely remove fall damage from any height, which I will demo in just a couple of minutes, but you can snag them without console commands if you know exactly where to go, of course. And the good news is, that is exactly what I'm about to show you. The important step for this particular method is you need a power armor with a jetpack, as I mentioned earlier in the video. You probably need some buff jet or jet, at least one lockpick, and a handful of nuka quantum. Once you've got all of that, you want to make your way to the mass fusion building, which is located in the central area of the Commonwealth, specifically north of Good Neighbor and just west of Old Corner Bookstore. But you can't really miss Mass Fusion because it is probably the biggest building in the entire game. But anyway, you want to head on inside Mass Fusion and you may need to fend off some enemies depending on how far through the main quest line you actually are. But about halfway up the building on the inside, there is a big glass floor, and you need to get above that glass floor. And to do so, if you've got the ID card like I do, you can use the lift from the bottom, but the crucial tip here is use it and quickly go back and jetpack on top of the lift before it starts going up. Ride it up a little bit, and once you've gone above that glass floor, you can just jump off. But make sure you don't go to the very top because you're going to get loaded into a new area. But we're not there yet, to be fair. In fact, we're not even close. That was the very easy part, and this is where it gets a little bit trickier. I'm going to fast forward this footage just a little bit because the next step involves using your jetpack to boost from ledge to ledge, making your way up higher, and as you can tell from this footage, you do need to go quite a way up. And a little tip I would add in is just be patient with your AP recharging because the jetpack does use it up pretty quickly. But once you've reached basically the top of where you can see the glass lift shaft, this is where you're going to start needing some chems and that nuka quantum that I mentioned just a minute ago. And the reason you'll need chems and a bunch of nuka quantum is you should be able to see an opening a good few levels up from where you are, but getting there without those is tricky if not impossible. So the chem I used here was Buff Jet, and I used that to slow down time, and the reason you'll need nuka quantum is to replenish your AP points instantly. Now I configured nuka quantum to be a favorite so I could access it quickly, and then as you can see I took the Buff Jet to slow down time and boosted my way up to this secret room. I found going into the corner made it a little bit easier, but I'm not going to lie, it did take me quite a few attempts to finally get into that secret room. So just keep trying guys, and once you get there make sure you do a quick save so you don't end up having to try and do it again. But in this first secret room, yes, there is another one we need to get to, but there is a fusion core, so you can grab that as well. Right, the last step, yes, we're finally there. We have to repeat this exact same process to get up into the final secret room, which is where the free fall legs are, but this one is a little bit closer, so you should be able to do it on the first attempt. Now this time I used Jet because I ran out of Buff Jet, again just to slow time. Again I used the Nuka Quantum to recharge my AP, and finally, after a while of trying, I got into the final secret room. And in that final secret room, you'll find a safe with a novice lock, and once you've opened that, there are the free fall legs. Happy days. Now these free fall legs certainly aren't easy to get, and they took me quite a long time to actually get them. But just check them out. You can jump from literally any height in the entire game and not take any fall damage. Pretty darn cool, right? But anyway, there you have it folks. There are 10 things I'd wish I'd known of earlier when playing Fallout 4. And are there any other tips or funky hidden little features or secrets that you wish you'd known about earlier when playing the game? If so, let me know in the comments section below. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something new, and if you did, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. As always, thanks for watching this video and I hope to catch you in my next one.